All right, guys, welcome. We have started our drawing here. This is going to be for the Four of Wands. I see we have our little guy, uh, and you can see we have three of the wands drawn. We're in the middle of drawing the third wand here, and yeah, let's just try our first video. Oh, wait a second, it's upside down. There we go. That looks right. That looks better. Now our wands look better. Okay. Now. So let's see what we want it to look like, guys. Just for a quick visual, I'm just going to move the camera. This is going to be easier. Later we'll do it more slickly. This is what we're looking for. You see that picture right there with the little guys? So that's what we're going to be going for, is making it look like that. So, yeah. Whoops. We're still getting this down here. There we go. Let's lock the camera in place. I see moving the camera was a bad idea. I had it locked in the right place, but we moved it, and now it's... There we go. Okay, so can we see that? I feel like that's not as close as it was before, but whatever. We need to get drawn. Let's get drawn. Okay, there we go. Make it so we can see a little better there. All right, so you can see we got the little ribbon up there. We got these guys. We're drawing the third guy here. And with this, we just want to make it straight as we can, which, of course, we're going to mess it up immediately, but that's okay. It's not really that important that it's super straight. It's going to be about as high as the other one, and then we're just going to come on down. You notice the black line's a little thicker on this one. On the other one, I held the pen a little straighter. That's going to be our other wand there. And there's going to be another one that comes a little higher. But on this one, let's give it some space. Come on up. On this one, when we get right up about here, there's going to be one of these little guys across. All right, and that's for a ribbon that ties it. And it's got one more, two ribbon. Here, let's bring this up. Bring it on up. There we go. And then there's another one kind of up here like that. And then it actually has a little bow that comes out like this. And then around for this ribbon. There we go. And then this staff just keeps going up a little bit higher, just like the other one. We'll give it kind of a roundish top. The other one has kind of a squarish top. And right here, we kind of want to have another bow. This one doesn't show all of it, but that's going to connect there. And that comes like that. And this guy has a ribbon coming all the way down and out like that. There we go. Just like on the other side, already has a ribbon drawn. So we got our ribbons drawn. All these guys also, they have little leaves that come out of them. I like to do the leaf. I like to get a brown and do the little leaf that comes out, kind of like that's a little branch coming out there. This guy's got like one coming out there where that knob is. And the same with this guy. He's got like a little knob here and a little knob there. And this has a little brown coming up. I'm actually going to do a second one there. Now we'll give ourselves some leaves here. Some nice leaves. See how these leaves look. We're going to go leaf and leaf. We've got 3 leaves on that one. This one we're going to do 3 leaves, but in a kind of a different pattern. This guy's going to have 1 leaf here and then 2 leaves here, just for a little different look. And this guy, same kind of thing. We'll give him 3 leaves there, and just 1 little leaf, 2 leaf there. Okay. So now we've got our leaves on top. We're going to be able to color that in. Let's color that in. Let's see how it's looking. Let's go. Let's color these in with some green. We're going to use the lighter of the 2 greens. I used the darker green on one of the other guys. Didn't look as cool. There we go. Let's draw these leaves in. Give them some green. So they're going to kind of pop as soon as you get the green in there. 2 little side leaves there. And 3 leaves there. Okay. So now they all have some living growth on them. And now this is going to be interesting. We're going to go ahead, we're going to use our brown, and we're going to texture these guys. We're going to texture these stabs. I'm actually going to turn it sideways. It makes it a little easier on my hand here. And we're going to be doing these little guys like this. Little swoops. Little swoops to give them texture. There we go. Swoop, swoop up, swoopers, son. There we go. Swoop, 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 swoop. Just like that. And you know, if they're, you want it to be sort of irregular. So those are actually a little too regular. I actually want a little more irregular. So I'm going to slow down a little bit and do some that kind of touch the end. Some that let a little more white in. But we're trying to capture the grain of this wood a little bit like this. It's nice to do that. Now in here, we're actually just going to, there we go. Right there, and that's going to capture perfectly. All right, let's color all of them. All of them just go all the way up except where they have the red on there, the red ribbon. So we can do this. And you notice there where I left a little white, that just makes a little highlight at the edge of the stick, right? If the brown, so that's like where the light's coming in on that side. There we go. Once again, I don't want it to be totally even, so some of the stick is going to be a little darker, some's going to be a little lighter. So I'm not trying to make them all an even distance apart, or even an even swoop, because some of the stick might be a little more rounded. There we go, get the top in there. All right, looking good. Now let's get this stick. Right, you guys can still see what I'm doing. Now you can't quite see the bottom. There we go, now you can see a little better. All right, there we go. Same thing, you notice the left side is where I didn't quite touch the black, and that gives us a little highlight. A little highlight there. Alright. I actually want that to fill in a little bit. There we go. The rest of that. All right, looking good, looking good. And again, here we're coming up to the top, and I kind of want to reverse the angle and fill that, so I'm just going to kind of make it a little darker. And that's fine for a little darker like that. I actually would rather that have a different line. Like I kind of want to go up on this one, and then across, and then like down on this one. So we'll just start at the top, since I wanted that top to look a little different on that one. Looks like there's a cat locked out there. We gotta let a cat in the room. All right, come on, cat. Come on, move your head. All right, back to the drawing. Back to the drawing. All right, so we're doing good here. I think you're gonna get a cat in the picture in a second. There's a cat shadow here. Hey, kitty, I need to do this. I'm doing a picture. Mr. Kitty, you're now part of the artwork. Cat's part of the artwork now. I'll give this guy some of these guys. Take it from the bottom. All right, there we go. So now we've got our staff. And you can fill those in more, like on this side, for instance. I kind of want the white to be more on the left, not the right, so I'll just extend these sides. So there we go. Stuff like that you can do if you feel like there's a spot that looks a little too white, or even a spot that looks a little too brown. So we got our staves on there. They got some good three-dimensional look. This bottom area, this is interesting. Actually supposed to be yellow, according to the guide, according to the original picture, which I know I showed very briefly in the beginning. I'm going to have to, there we go, Zork. Go ahead and have a two-tiered thing here. There we go. So that's like a little dais that we're on here. Now we're going to draw some more. We got two things we can do. We can do the top here, has a bunch of like garlands. You can put those in and leaves and stuff. But we're actually going to start at the bottom and we'll work our way up. So there's a castle and then there's a couple figures. All right, so we're going to start with the figures maybe, or the castle. The figures, you've got a little guy there with some goods. So if I was going to draw it, so I would say there's like a little guy here. It's like a little bit of a dress type thing there. And then he's got like a little hat, and then he's got a face right there. I don't know if you can see that. No, you can't, because my darn thing's in the way. Let's scooch this. You can see what it's just working on. I drew a little face. I drew like a little dress, and there's his little hat. Then he's got like a couple little arms that stick out, like that. And then there's another little, like, I don't know if it's a sombrero or what this is, but there's another little thing over here behind him. Alright, then over here we've got like another guy, that's like his shirt going up, and his shoulders there. And then he's got a head here with little hair. There's his head. And then the other shoulder's kind of coming down like this. Now these figures are just small figures that are kind of in the background. The main figures are here. There's actually a little bit of greenery right here, a little bush. We'll draw like a little bit of texture there, and we'll fill that with some green. That's a bush. But here you've got two figures. I'm actually going to scooch so we can see the computer a little better. There's two figures, right? One both of them have these nice robes on, and the robes have a lot of motion in them. So like here's the edge of the robe, and it comes up like this, right? And then here's another part of the robe like this. And this motion kind of comes up like that. It makes multiple sort of folds and lines that come up like this. All right? And all of that, and then it's got another part that comes down like that. There we go. And we're going to stretch to the ground there and give him like some feet or something down there. Now, that's the edge. Now here, this is just white. It's white up here, and then he has some arms that come up, and he's got some garlands in his hand. This is like a little green thing. His arm comes up, and then you can see a little bit of a head here. Here's his head. He's got like a wreath on his head that's going to be in brown and green. And then the other arm comes up like this. This arm has this blue kind of thing hanging on it. And then it goes out. And that has its own little garland thing. Or not garland, little bush looking thing. So that's actually it. That looks pretty good, actually. We captured that pretty well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break and I'm going to color these guys based on what we have here. So this was like a light blue right here, very light blue. And then this guy has a reddish tone. I'm actually going to use this maroon here for his mane right there. And then his other tone will do more of a pink is probably too bright. I was going to use this pink. We want something that'll a little more clothing color. Pink is pretty bright for those days, although it is kind of a pinkish show. I'm actually going to go with the brown, I think. That's a purple. Let's go with the purple. Let's go with a little purple here. Just a light touch there. There we go. Give him a purple hand too. Okay. Then he's going to get a hat, and that can be red. Here's a red, little red in this hat here, just like that. And then we actually have kind of this flush color for his face here, so we can put that in. The same with this guy. We can put a face, just put a light flesh tone in here, light flesh tone on those guys. And if you're really good, after your light flesh tone, if you get the very point of this guy, you can just get the tiniest little touch of a nose there and with 2 eyes. There we go, a nose and 2 eyes. I don't know if you guys can see that. We actually have a nose and 2 eyes there. Alright, now we're going to do, I think, a little more red here for this corner guy right there, a little red in that hat. And then a touch of brown on the top of the hat in that little square. You see I'm filling the little holes that were left. This guy's actually green, so let's get a nice light green here. He's got green on his shirt, this here, and both arms are green. And then in the bottom, this is the same sort of reddish color, so we'll do like a light red and go with some lines there. Alright, so that's our other guy. Now, let's get our green. So this here's a little plant on the ground there. Fill in a little plant. There we go. And this garland is interesting. It has these green spots as most of it, but it also has a bright red. There's a couple of these like flowers. So we'll just dot that in like that. And then we'll put a green spot right here in between them, just so there's a little bit of green next to those guys. Okay, looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. All right, next we're going to do, actually, you can't really see it from that distance. It's actually 3 different dots. Let's see if it'll focus. 3 different dots there that are part of that. Look how good that looks. That's really tight. Alright, so we're happy about how that came out. Man, I got to get my focus better on this. Alright, so now we're going to do, the top is all in white. And actually, there's something I missed here. There's a little bit of a neckline here. So let's open this neckline. There we go. And then we can go ahead and color that with our flesh tone right there a little bit. A little bit of flesh tone in there. Alright, now, the garland here is green, like that. Alright. We can even give her one little red flower right on top here. Boop. And then here, the tops here, here, and here are going to be red. And down here too, with this little bit of opening. And then this is going to be green right here. So green, green in there. There you go. Again, really looks like she's got some flowers in her hand. Looks great. I love those lines. Now we need the lightest blue we have. Which actually, this is the lightest blue we have, but it's so dark, it tends to overwhelm the guy. Here's a blue we have. This is more of a crayon marker. It's not as dark. We're going to use that for all of this bottom area of the robe here, right here. I'm going to fill this in with blue, just like that. And I'm going to try to actually flow. So you can see those lines come down. And of course, like that. And like that. And then the bottom is actually white, just like that. So there you go. Looks great, looks great. Our first three people look pretty celebratory. Now, we're going to do the next part. This guy's actually more like a maroon, or this girl, whichever it is, right? So there's also a flowing robe kind of look to it, so give us some flowing robes. But then here is the counterpart, up like that. Some more flowing there. And it comes up and around. And they actually have an arm coming up and out like this. It's almost like sideways. And then they also have a little bouquet. Alright, so that's their arm coming out and up. And the robe part goes like this and comes around. Then this is their head. Comes out over here. They've got a little bit of garlands on their head too. So there's their head kind of sticking out there. And their other arm comes out this way. Right, and it too can have a little bit of greenery on there, although they don't really have much greenery there. So we're going to need some texture lines on this. Texture lines right there. This is part of a robe. Then we're going to use our same maroon we used before. And again, we want to kind of catch the lines here, so we're just going to kind of go along with it like this. There we go. That robe goes up and over her shoulder and then back down. And actually, she's going to have a collar too, but I'm going to open it. It's got to, oops, that's purple. Whoops, I was meant to get black. That's actually going to open, I'll just go right over that line. There we go, open in the front there. There we go. Now we can fill that in with, we'll do an eye here, right? An eye under your nose. It's going to be kind of in between these two. There we go. So now it looks like the front of a face, or a sideways of a face. And now we can fill that in. And a little bit on the neck. There we go. And now you guys can see it's kind of like a sideways face there. Alright, now let's give them some nice greenery, right? Because that's going to all be greenery. She's carrying a bouquet, right? It's a bouquet. A little bit of bouquet here. Right? Going to stay white. And let's give her some roses in her bouquet. Top of the bouquet, we'll get a couple roses on top. There we go. Alright, and we're going to put a rose in her hand here too. I know the original didn't have that, but whatever. Now then, there's like an archway that's part of the castle, okay? So first there's like a little more of these bushes here, so a little bit of texture for the bush, and then it actually keeps going like this, all the way up to the guy there. Whereas this is an archway, it goes up, nice even arch, like that. And then it keeps going like that, and actually comes back down here, just like that. It actually has a lot of growth. There's a lot of these little leaves here, little growing things, down, up, down, over here. There's more. It actually goes up and around this archway somewhat. There's just a little texturing I put in here. Now inside of here, there's a couple little arches. I don't know if I'm going to capture those little arches, so we're going to wait on that. But we will go ahead and get all of this greenery in here. Go ahead and make like a hedge come all the way up there. Okay, so let's get that all in. Alright, here we go. Once again, we're trying to catch the growth of these. So I'm not pressing down hard or filling it all the way. It's very important that I leave some white spaces in for texture here as I fill. And so you can see here, let's get a little closer for you. You see the texturing. Well, hold on. Will you autofocus, please? Thank you. You see the texturing I did for that. Man, if this thing would focus, there we go, right there. You see that? That's perfect. That's the way it's supposed to look. And so you see the leaves and stuff, you see the archway. Now that archway, of course, is part of the castle. So the castle is what we're going to draw next. Now the castle actually is like up on a mountainy thing. So it starts, it's kind of in the background, it kind of starts, it kind of goes up like this. And then it's got a spire here, which is going to be in red, right there. Then on the other side, we're going to start, there's a little spire right here just to start, a little half spire, followed by this guy who goes even higher. And he's got a little window right here. We'll draw a little black window. He has another little red top like this. Alright. Then, here we're going to come out of the wall a little bit. Goes down, goes up, goes over, goes down, goes up. We're actually going to freelance a little bit here. Goes over. And then, we come to this part of the wall, which is just one more down and then up. And it comes up like this, and then it has a nice big sort of spire on here, and then it has, comes down but not all the way down, comes over, and then across, and over, and across, just like that. Like little battlements over here. And what we can do is we can also put like a little spire in the distance that's kind of behind there. It's kind of behind there. Yeah, and it's got a little window in it. And this guy has, it only has one window in the original. I'm going to put 2 windows in here. I think it looks a little better with 2 windows. And they don't have to be perfect, you know. I'm not trying to get perfect. It's all about the vibe, man, the vibe. It's got to come up in a swoop and then come on back down. And a lot of these have little, things coming out of them. There we go, little things coming out of them. Alright. Now, we got a castle. Now, we're definitely going to do red. Alright, so let's get our red. And again, I'm trying to, I don't know if you can see how I come down. I'm trying to come from the center and swoosh it real evenly. Like that. Especially this one because it's so long. I really want these lines to be kind of straight down and even. There we go. So we get the texture of the spire. There we go. That's just that. That's exactly what I wanted. Same with this guy, the texture of the spire. Okay. Now we got a castle. Now what we want to do is we want to color it in, and we also need this under bridge. Now what they have is they have 2 little miniature ones. But I'm actually going to do, I think I'm going to do one big archway here. And I want to get this black, this is sort of the underside of the archway. It's supposed to be like a shadow, right? The underside goes like this, and there's a shadow. We're just going to very lightly color this in. So black will dominate if you let it. So we just want to not be too black. And that's our little archway there coming up. And so there we go. All right, now we're going to use the gray. The gray is going to go everywhere the black didn't. There is a little black here in the original, like this comes down, but I think I'm actually going to let that all be one piece. Actually, no, I don't. I want this to come down there. There we go. And this to come down a little bit here. Yeah. Yeah, that's a little more like the original. All right, now we got some color to do. Gray for sure. So we're going to get our gray. Again, the marker gray will just really dominate the landscape there. But if we get ourselves, there should be one of these guys that has a, oh no, did we lose it? I got blue. There should be a gray one. Uh-oh, the gray one's been, there's the gray one. The gray one here. This is like a Crayola sort of crayon marker. I don't know what it is, but it's about to be drawn our castle. So with this, it's interesting because there's no real texture in the original. It's just like a even gray. So the way we fill in these lines is very important, right? Because it can look very different depending on how you fill these lines in. There we go. So I'm going to go pretty much for an up and down motion here because I feel like this is a nice stately guy. So I think that's the way to fill in the texture. Will be good. And that's going to make our little guys here. Let's move it up so you can see it a little better. It's going to make these guys moved it up and moved it back. Okay. These guys show better in relief. And here, we're actually going to color in here with some gray. To give me the idea of like it's a little archway there. Let's see. Looks like that. And you can barely see it down there, but it does make a difference. That light gray really makes the castle wall stand out from the white in their robes and that kind of stuff. All right, we did it. There we go. Nice gray castle. Let's take a look at this, guys. There we go. Look at that gray castle with those happy people there. Okay. So now there's two more pieces. One, of course, is the background, but the main thing is this garland that's going to come down. So this garland has multiple leaves and stuff. Can I make this go smaller, please? Thank you. Oh, I'm turning it the wrong way. Okay, there we go. Try and make this thing go away here. Let's see here. So we want to take a look at this guy. We're going to need a black marker to draw some of these outlines, then we'll come back and we'll fill in the colors. It's really about leaves and vines mostly. So for instance here, we've got the edge of this like ribbon that comes down. So the ribbon can keep coming down like this, right? But as it comes down, right, as it comes down here, it's all of a sudden going to be overtaken by all these leaves, just tons and tons of leaves. We're going to block the view. And then it even has some of these big kind of rose-looking things, and then more leaves. And then kind of goes behind this guy. I'm going to make a big leaf here. There we go. Now that it kind of goes behind this guy, and you can see it's coming up with, there's leaves here. They're doing their thing. They're coming out. And then there's actually like a fruit here, kind of like this fruit that I drew right here. This is going to be another fruit. And then it actually has these big leaves that are like this. Little key looking leaves like that, yeah, and then some more leaves like that. Okay. Then we'll keep going, draw the leaves, draw the leaves, draw the leaves, draw the leaves. Alright, we want some leaves in here. Alright, it's all like a leafy kind of thing. Then it's got another one of these sort of fruits or flowers. It's got another fruit or flower like here. Got some leaves there, some vines. Now, it's going to have another one of these big tri-bumpy leaves right here. Kind of like the one we drew just a second ago. And that's going to have some more little leaves. Put the little leaves in there. More little leaves. Alright, and then we're going to do more little leaves. And then like a little viney guy here. Followed by a fruit. Put a fruit here. Put another fruit there. And let's just get some leaves in here. Some little leaves. Little leaves. Little leaves. Alright. Little leaves. Little leaves. Little leaves. A vine. That's a vine right there. Little leaves. Little leaves. Like that. Okay. There we go. Now here again we want to have the beginning of these guys like this, but then they're going to be overwhelmed by little leaves. Like they start there, and just a bunch of leaves. We'll put a fruit here, just like the other ones are fruit there. Just like that. There we go. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Now if we look at this and see before we color it what we've got. Now we're going to do the coloring. We'll start with our red. Looks like our door's open. Let's close our door. Alright guys, we're making progress. We're making progress. Now we'll do this. We're going to put the red. Well, let's clear the eyes out. Make sure we're not, no watery eyes here. We got to have a real good look. Alright, so what you're going to see here is I'm just going to get this right here. What I'm doing is I'm just coloring where these red sort of, there you go, and even a little down in here as it's going into the leaves. And the same here. Here's our straps. The back gets colored. That gets colored. And this gets colored with. All right, there we go. All right, so that's the red part. Now we'll do, there's two different color leaves, right? You've got our basic leaves. I'm going to use the lighter green for most of these leaves. I'm just going to fill the leaves in. I just look anywhere where this little thing that I said was a leaf, you see right there, I fill them in. Right? And the little space there, you can put a little green in the space, but you want some of that white, like I was saying before. All right, there we go. Leaf, 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 leaf. These are the little leaves. So I'm using the, that's fruit there. That's fruit and flowers. And the little leaves. What I'm going to do is I'm using this color for the little leaves. There we go. More little leaves. I noticed I didn't put quite as much leaves in this part. I think I was kind of running out of zip by the time I got to here. Alright, so put some leaves in there. Actually meant for that to be a fruit instead of a leaf. This right here that I just colored. So I don't know if I can save that and make it a fruit or what I'm going to do, but that was actually a mistake. That's okay. That's okay. Now we're going to get our darker guy right here, and we're actually going to color these leaves. This is the sort of broad leaves. You see how much darker that is. It's going to be for our big broad leaves here. All right. One more. All right, I thought I had one more leaf. Is that going to be a fruit? I think that's actually a fruit. So let's get our red again. There's two different things. One is the fruit, and actually let's make the fruit orange here. Make our fruit orange. We're going to make this guy into more of a flower. See how he's got a black center? They're the flowers. And then this guy's can be a fruit. And this guy actually, let's see if I can get a little orange in there. Just a little orange. Just like maybe he's a partially ripened. See, look at this guy. See, maybe he's, oops, sorry. This guy, maybe he's a fruit that just started to ripen. So he's got green, but he's got a little orange on that one half of him now. And let's do, I feel like we've got, I feel like even though there's not a black, I'm going to put a little black right here. I feel like this should actually be another flower rather than, and that's sort of the center of the flower, a little rose, you know, they go around. There we go. I'm going to get that, one of these guys. Nice and red. All right. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. It's got a little more green in the one area. So I'm actually going to just do a little more. You know what? There's a little spot here that maybe could be a fruit. Like it's kind of squarish, but maybe a fruit is behind a leaf right there. So I'm actually going to make that a fruit. And then let's see. We're going to get a little more green in here in between. I know there's not actually a leaf there, but that's kind of just like a background green. And we actually missed coloring one of those guys. There we go. A little more green. All right, so it looks pretty good. You can see how our garland looks now that we've done all that drawing. Draw a ring. There you go. Look at that. A lot of different colors, a lot of different shapes. Real nice and pretty, real festive. So we've got it. That's our picture. That's mostly everything, but we do want to do a blue sky. Again, I'm going to use one of these guys, these Crayola marker guys, but I kind of want a bluish one. This one's kind of like a watery blue or whatever. You know what it is, what they call turquoise. Kind of want more just this blue. But I'm going to do it real light so this guy doesn't look too dark. And then that's going to be it. It'll be done. I guess I could color this bottom yellow, but I think I like it staying white. I think it's kind of pops in the foreground. So here we go. I just picked an angle, and I'm just going to try to be consistent. I'm going to do the whole sky like that. Just like that. Just real light, real nice so it's not stark white here. There we go. Real light. There we go. It's almost like a beautiful day with these lazy clouds. No clouds. Maybe I should do some clouds, huh? Alright, looking good, my friends. See, my shadow for my head is getting over this. That kind of messes up I'm gonna have to get this down over time. Alright, let's keep going. I really like getting a nice consistent angle on it. It's tough sometimes when you have like certain areas to fill in, like around these leaves. You gotta kind of break your, I want it to blend. I'm gonna keep that angle to it. There we go. Alright, looks pretty good. Alright guys. Looks good, looks good. I think maybe putting something on that white, but I like white as a foreground, so there's our guys. Look at them partying. There is our 4 of Wands. So that is ready to go up on Crypto Tarot. And we will be making another one soon, guys.